EA Sports coverage of the NFL brings us to the Sunshine State and TIAA Bank Field here in Jacksonville. Today we jump right into this new season with an AFC South matchup between the Tennessee Titans and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Just about time to rock as toe gets ready to meet leather. And off we go from Jacksonville. And they will not get a chance to return this one as it's through the end zone for a touchback. Coming out with a jumbo package to start the drive.
Lock it.
Here's Joe Mixon as they start on the ground. He's going to be dropped following a pickup of 7 past the 30 to the 32.
A nice run here early on. It doesn't take a great play caller to realize you want to establish a guy of his caliber with runs like this early because they'll pay dividends as the game progresses.
So they'll come up after the gain of 7 on a 2nd and 3. A toss left, Mixon. And this won't be enough to pick up the first. A gain of 2, 3rd and 1.
He's definitely tough to get down. We just saw it right there. But how about what we did see? Pursuit, wrap up, and then the big finish with the tackle.
Just play number 3 here on the opening drive, and it's an early 3rd and 1. They give to Mixon to try to pick it up, and he will have a first down as they get him to the ground at the 37. Only 3 there on the pickup, but that's enough to move the chains. Didn't get it by much, but bottom line got the first down. Avoiding that 3 and out, how vital is that on the first drive?
To me, it's like the first round of a boxing match. You know, it may not mean much right then and there, but you'd rather not lose it, right? So you want to go ahead and get it, kind of establish something early, and hope it can carry through.
On 1st and 10, it's Lawrence. This one complete to Christian Kirk. And this will be good for a pickup of 9 to the 46.
Well, partner, that's the start that you want right there. And you know he spent the entire offseason throwing hundreds, I'd probably say thousands of passes, getting ready for that moment. The first throw of the new season. He's dreamed about it, thought about it, and now it's out of the way.
Yeah, 1 for 1. A lot more to go. On 2nd down, here's Mixon. And a pretty athletic run right there as he's going to get this down inside the 40. That one a pickup of 15 for Jacksonville.
Well, there's plenty of real estate for him to maneuver on that run, and let's face it, it shouldn't be a surprise. He's one of the better backs in the league. Had to come into this game with the idea, slow him down, otherwise it's going to be a long afternoon.
So operating from Tennessee territory now. Here's 1st and 10 at the 39-yard line. Once again, they run with Mixon. And brought down, but not before they're inside the 25. 42 yards rushing for him now. What a drive for him to kick off the new season. So back-to-back big runs, picking apart this defense on the opening drive.
I thought this was a passing league. I thought this was the era we were in where the ball was always in the air, right?
They didn't get the memo.
And they didn't get the memo, and I know this to be true. Offensive linemen still, to this day, they want to run the football. They want to fire out and hit people across the line of scrimmage, and they're clearing space.
So after the run for no gain, here's 2nd and 10. Running left, it's Mixon. 5 yards. Now it's 3rd and 5.
I really like the vision he displayed on that play because he saw there wasn't a lane to completely break off a huge gain. So he found where there was the most space and got what he could. A nice dirty run that's a positive play for the offense.
Play number 9 now on this pretty long opening drive. But this is third down. Now Lawrence. Hard throw, incomplete.
I think that was a good job there defensively. They did allow him to drive all the way downfield, but once they got their backs to the goal line, they really turned up the pressure.
Yeah, they let him get all the way down here. Now the field shrinks. They've struggled to convert, and that last incompletion brings up fourth. Well, all offseason, probably a lot of thought goes into that first drive of week 1. They didn't get the touchdown, but at least they got something.
And what I like about it is that they didn't overthink it, because you're exactly right. A lot goes into the offseason, the preseason, to get to that first drive of the regular season. They went right downfield, mission accomplished, points on the board.
And taken down just past the 20 at about the 21-yard line. First and 10 now. Willis and the Titans at their own 21. And he is going to lose yardage here. They'll lose a yard there, and it's second and 11.
Sometimes you get all those big guys down there in one spot, and there's just nowhere to go. And in this case, the defensive tackle used his strength and swallowed him up.
After the loss to start out, here's second and 11. To throw, here's Willis. Oh, and that'll be incomplete. Oh, he took a shot as he let that go. And it's going to bring up a third down.
Partner, what we're seeing so far is the defense is certainly coordinated. Both levels doing their jobs in tandem. The back helping the front helping the back. The pressure got home on that last play and forced him to try and throw through contact and short of the sticks.
And they work this well upfield across the 45. Excellent play there on third down. Give him 25 yards. Well, on third down, he wanted to go to one of his most dependable targets, and that's who he found, his tight end there, to pick up the first, Charles.
And you use the proper word there, dependable, and sometimes spectacular, because tight ends nowadays, they can do it all. But they're the guys you trust, especially across the middle of the field where there's traffic. He delivers, and they pick up nice yardage.
And he's going to take this across midfield into Jacksonville territory. A solid run on first down, gain of 7, leaves him with a 2nd and 3. The success there, Charles, coming on the outside of the field, the ground game. Curious to see if that continues as we progress.
Yeah, we often talk about a variety in play calling and usually between run and pass. But in this case, with strictly the run game, you can be creative there as well. Run it inside, run it outside, keep the defense off balance.
A good run, got 7 on first. Here's 2nd and 3. They'll keep it on the ground. Baker. Call it a gain of 3, but not enough to move the sticks. It'll be 3rd and about a foot or 2. Pretty good job defensively. Thought he was going to get it, but they knew where that marker was, and they stopped him just short of it.
What it does is emphasize that strategic football and situational football.
Now Mike Vrabel unsure of that last call. He's going to throw out the red flag. 3-0 after 1 on EA Sports. Could be 4-down territory even if they don't get this, but they need just a few inches here on 3rd. Now Willis on 3rd down. And he's going to have to eat this one as down he goes. And that'll bring up 4th down on a big sack with a loss of 5. On now is the Titans punter, as he should be able to pin him back deep here with his first punt. And here's a very low-line drive, almost whiffed on it. And this punt will go out of bounds. I think it'll be inside the 25, and it will. Right at the 24-yard line is where they'll spot it. Jaguars come to the line to start their next drive. And, Charles, nothing like squaring off with a division opponent, a division rival in Week 1. Do you like that they are matching up this early, or would you prefer a game like this be a few weeks down the road?
I actually like the early matchup for a few reasons, Brandon. First of all, it allows you to see that in the entire offseason and know, hey, right out of the gate, we're playing a division game. Second part is it spreads them out a little bit. If you just have them all bunched up at the end of the year, that's not as much fun watching teams try to survive that gauntlet when you do have injuries down the stretch. And last but not least, let's face it, we're TV people. What a great game to sell right out of the gate. And what a nice example there of a tight end doing exactly what he needs to do. How about how he worked his way to the outside, made sure he secured the catch, and then anything after that, we count that as a bonus. And indeed, he gets enough for the first down.
So from the 39 now, they'll come up on a 1st and 10. Nowhere to go that time. He maybe got a yard up to the 40.
Yeah, things were pretty stacked up there in the middle of the line. A lot of bodies, not much space. I think ultimately he was fortunate to get anything out of that run.
The run only got a yard. Here's 2nd and 9. In motion, the tight end. Back to Mixon on 2nd down. Shoves him aside. 63 yards rushing for him in his first half as he is looking in mid-season form here in the opener.
Now this is an example of breaking down a defense, because on a lot of these runs, he's getting past the point of attack, and guess what he's doing? Forcing the secondary guys to have to make a lot of tackles.
So operating from Tennessee territory now. Here's 1st and 10 at the 46. And he's got this down a yard or two shy of the 40 before he's out of bounds. Call it a gain of 4 on 1st, and that'll make it 2nd down.
When you find that kind of yardage, you couldn't be more confident as a ball carrier. And guess what? You're going to go back and tell your offensive coordinator, I'd like to keep carrying it, thank you.
And now they'll throw it with Lawrence. Now he lets it go deep for Kirk. Oh, he tries to force it in, and it's intercepted. And the Titans are going to have it here at their own 9-yard line. So a nice play defensively by the rookie, coming up with the INT.
And that's a late-round pick right there, making a first-round impact. And a lot of these day 3 corners, they end up winding up on special teams and sub-packages and even on the practice squad. But he's really made an impact on this defense, and he comes up with the interception there.
The Titans offense set to begin the drive. They got the ball now following a big play, keeping the other guys out of the end zone. Now they'll start deep in their own territory, 1st and 10. And he still has yet to get on track in this first half as they're going to stop him behind the line.
I have a feeling they'll stay committed to running the football, especially on the early downs. They just haven't had a whole lot of success just yet.
A 3-yard loss to start the drive. They'll look to make that up and then some on 2nd and 13. They'll go option to the short side. And he's up past the 10 to about the 12. He'll get 5 out of the keeper, but now it's 3rd down. So he is able to turn that into positive yardage, but I think it's fair to say that those are not the shots you're wanting your quarterback to have to absorb.
And he has to know sometimes when to say when. You have to know when to give yourself up, and let's face it, not easy for these guys to do because they're competitors as well. But sometimes you do learn your lesson the hard way, as he did there.
Now throwing on 3rd down there, but he cannot connect.
2 drives won't tell the story of this game, but you absolutely have to like how this defense has played thus far. They have yet to allow this offense to get on track in this one.
And on 4th down, on is the punt team sending this one away. taking on the midfield logo. Second quarter action, 1:56 remaining. Fans, a reminder, coming up at this and every halftime this season, we'll be checking in with Jonathan Coachman in Orlando for highlights and analysis and scores from around the NFL here in this opening weekend.
Let's put the coach to work.
Block it.
Mixon with a first down carry. Busting through contact. Just wasn't a huge hole there for him to operate. Stopped just inside the 35-yard line. It's a 6-yard gain on the ground, and that'll make it 2nd and 4.
And there we saw one of the downsides of blitzing during a rundown, because sometimes you get out of your gaps. You don't fit the run quite as well because you're headed towards the ball carrier with abandon.
On 2nd down and 4, Lawrence. Toward the sideline, and look at that catch. Dragging the toes, and that's going to be a first down. Well done. 23 yards the pickup there. And a good quarterback facing zone coverage. If he has just a little bit of time to survey the scene, that's what's going to happen.
No doubt about it. If there's no pressure, he's going to continue to pick them apart because he'll have all that time to find someone open downfield. You can only cover for so long. So maybe they want to go to a zone blitz scheme, get a little bit more pressure. Remember when Carolina did that against Denver? They lost the game ultimately. They dropped the defensive end out, and he ended up with an interception in that game in Super Bowl 50. Maybe some sort of scheme like that to try and get more pressure at the passer.
To throw again on 2nd down. Lawrence being chased out left. And he just chucked that one out of bounds, out of everyone's reach. Maybe a wise call not to take a sack in this part of the field. It brings up 3rd down.
Oh, that's good decision-making right there. Understood down and distance. Knew it wasn't 3rd down, and he still had another opportunity to earn the first down. Good job throwing it away and avoiding an interception.
An incomplete pass on that last play, and that means they'll need to come up with something here on 3rd down.
Hey, Lord!
Here's Lawrence to throw. Toward the end zone, but that's going to wind up incomplete.
Oh, that's going to hurt a bit because they needed to come through with a completion there. Now a drive that started with great field position is facing 4th down.
And his kick here is good. And they're able to double their lead just before half. It's 6-0. So they're able to win that drive with 3 points in this one-possession ball game.
And ideally, you want to end every drive with points. Most quarterbacks would tell you, let's end it with a kick, right? A PAT, that's number 1. Field goal you'll take. Punts, you really don't want to do that. In this case, they'll take the field goal and get prepared for the rest of the game.
The Titans offense set to begin the drive. And with them trailing, there is still enough time to try to string a few plays together, maybe get into field goal range. The Titans going to use the first of their timeouts as the clock will stop with 34 seconds to go before halftime. Just over 30 seconds to go in the half. They've got it 1st and 10. On 1st down, Willis. Jaguar pressure and a Jaguar sack. Joey Bosa just would not be denied. That's a loss of 7. Now following the sack, they'll look to make amends on a 2nd down and 17. Last play of the half, Willis. And he's going to go down. Couldn't get a throw off with the pressure. Maybe that was for the best, as that brings us to the end of this first half of play. So we've reached halftime here on opening weekend, as we now go downstate to Orlando and check in with Jonathan Coachman with our EA Sports Halftime Report. And we welcome you back live now inside the booth alongside Charles Davis, operating Gordon, set and ready to rock for the third quarter. We'll see if Week 1 fatigue becomes any kind of a factor as we are back underway in the second half. And that'll carry over the back line of the end zone for a touchback. The Titans offense set to begin the drive.
Charles, it'll be interesting to see what adjustments this offense made in the locker room. Haven't really been able to get anything going offensively, virtually nothing in the ground attack either. So certainly something has to change here in quarter 3.
And I'm pretty sure their friends from the defensive side of the ball told them exactly that, because those guys, the stop troops, they've been playing pretty well. They've kept them around in this game. Now they've got some time. The running game struggled in the first half. Opposition knows how to focus on defending the pass here. They've got to re-energize that ground game and maybe open things up for a comeback here in this half.
And nowhere to run for Willis. He goes down. Multiple defenders there to drop him for a loss of 4.
So one quick, easy analysis about why they've struggled so far. They keep putting themselves in third and long situations. They just took another sack right there.
And the offensive film session tomorrow may be a little longer than it normally is.
Not a lot of positive grades will be handed out thus far.
Now on third and long, they'll look to throw. Taking a deep shot here for Hardman. That's going to be knocked away and incomplete.
What we've seen so far in this game, they are not going to allow a big shot over the top. You can have whatever you want underneath. They'll give you that, but they're not going to let you beat them deep.
On fourth down, the punt team is on as this is sent away. 31 yards on the punt there. Now the Jags will have great field position to start this drive as they take over on the short side of the field. On the delay, it's Mixon.
It's a solid footwork there as he'll take this down to about the 38.
So here's a 1st and 10 at the 38.
From the shotgun, Lawrence. This goes out wide for Mixon. And he'll be hauled down at about the 30-yard line.
Just about every quarterback is trained to really look downfield first before you come back and make a nice, safe throw. And in this case, that's exactly what he did. Found his running back, let him create some space, and it turned out to be a nice play for the offense.
Inside 4 minutes to go, third quarter.
They go play action with Lawrence.
On the move to his left.
Finding Mixon here again on back-to-back plays. And he's going to be taken down at the 28-yard line.
As a general rule, offensive linemen like to know where their quarterback's going to be when he's setting up to throw the football. Sometimes they just have to get on the run, get on the move. He was able to do that on that play and picks up a first down with a nice throw.
He's got his receiver, Cooper. And he doesn't quite make it, taking it within an eyelash. Dropped at the 1. A very solid gain of 27.
I think he has to be saying to himself, how did that not wind up a touchdown? Remember, he just need the tip of the ball to cross the plane. It's not going to get there, but they're going to be set up in great shape with 1st and goal.
Mixon. No signal, and now they say he did not get in. He is stonewalled at the 1.
3 red zone trips have yielded just 2 field goals for them to this point, so they'll be touchdown Jaguars.
Joe Mixon.
A 1-yard touchdown reception, and they're able to add on to their advantage. Well, they had their chances in the first half, you remember, but had to settle for 2 field goals. This time they come away with 6.
I think they actually got affirmation about what they were doing by getting a touchdown, because the field goals means they got in range but couldn't quite finish it off. This time they broke through, and that's great for the old confidence.
And on the sideline, difference of a feeling between 3 and 6, is it astronomical or no?
It can be at times, that's for sure. A lot of times the field goal feels like a disappointment. The touchdown, well, that tells you you're getting it done.
Lawrence going to look to throw for it.
That is caught. He's got it. And the lead will move to 14-0. That right there makes up for that missed extra point they had after the first score.
Yeah, they went ahead and got back to level by going for 2 and having the normal amount of points, so that works out pretty well for them. And if you're the kicker, don't worry about it too much. Now they got back to where they want to be, they'll try it out there for the next one.
The Titans offense set to begin the drive. They're staring at a 2-touchdown deficit, 14-0 the score as they regroup with 1st and 10.
Meanwhile, Willis' throw into the hands here of Hardman.
And he gets this one just shy of the 40. They'll mark him down at the 39. First play of the drive going for 14 and also going for a 1st down. Up the middle they go. Baker. And he takes this up right near the 45-yard line. It's a 6-yard pickup, and it gets him to 2nd and 4.
Well, I think after that run, the defense getting back in the huddle and looking at each other and maybe starting to question their confidence a bit. They gave up a significant run, 6 yards, and now you're saying to yourself, how do we stop them, and do I have enough confidence to make them?
And the Jags get to him as down he goes. Michael Pierce, in all of his 340-pound glory, gets the sack.
It has been a rough afternoon for him trying to get rid of the football. See, that's now 5 sacks.
How'd you like to be the offensive coordinator, the offensive line coach trying to come up with an answer for this pass rush? What blocking assignments do you change? Can guys play a little bit better? And we're seeing the end result on the scoreboard. Long day in the pocket for their quarterback.
Here's Willis, 3rd and long.
And this throw will be intercepted. Shaquille Griffin with a pick.
And the Jaguars are going to take possession of the football. Things just kind of continuing to unravel for them here in this second half. They take the shot downfield, but this defense once again up to the task.
Well, this is where you think about the old phrase, desperate times call for desperate measures, because they've got nothing on the scoreboard, and they're just trying to get something, anything to go their way. But in this case, they turn the ball over.
And he's going to get a solid gain of 9 before being brought down. 2nd and right at a yard.
An opportunity to get a drive started here at the end of the 3rd quarter. What you're trying to do is break the game down a little bit. Don't let your guys see too deep into the game, into the future, and say, oh, we got to get here. No, right here, right in front of them, melt the clock down, get to the 4th quarter, try and keep going.
And try to keep that lead.
Exactly.
Lawrence on 3rd down.
He'll find his running back, Joe Mixon.
And he will have a Jaguars 1st down, I do believe. Yes, he's got it. On play action, Lawrence.
Toward the sideline, and that is a nice catch as he's able to tiptoe his way out of bounds. So the completion results there in 9 yards, and it'll bring up a 2nd and short. He's been a busy man here in this one, and they're showing off some nice footwork to stay in bounds.
And with those types of catches and the volume that we've seen in this game, wouldn't you keep him busy as well?
I would.
Of course. You got to keep throwing it to him. He keeps making plays.
Inside handoff to Mixon. And he takes it in. Touchdown, Jacksonville.
Joe Mixon,
already his second touchdown here in this opening weekend.
And the Jaguars are closing in on a winning start to the year as they extend their fourth quarter lead.
Point after, right down the middle. And it's now 21-0.
After the touchdown, Cook now to kick this one away. Taken in at the 3. And makes it across the 20 as his guys will set up shop at the 23-yard line.
The Titans offense set to begin the drive.
And they knew coming in that this would be a tough place to go in and win a season opener. But this has just been a performance, to be frank, not to be proud of here as they trail big in this fourth.
Into double coverage, and it's intercepted. Picked up by Charvarius Ward.
And the Jags are going to take possession of the football.
Another solid game-changing play for this defense with the interception. And at this point, though, I don't know that it's game-changing. I mean, they've got this one in firm control.
And you always hear about, those stories about someone left their game plan behind and maybe you benefit from it. I'm not going to say that that happened, but they certainly have appeared on defense to be a step ahead this entire game. Guys are always in the right spot in order to make a play.
The offense has had its moments, too.
Well, fourth quarter with a 3-score lead here, Charles, but they're still going back to the air and looking for more points.
Well, with this game well in hand, it's an opportunity for the guys to come off the bench and get a chance to play. And a lot of coaches, they want to run their full playbook no matter who's on the field.
And he'll take this one down to about the 40. They'll need to get it to the 30 for a first. This is third down.
They go play action now. Lawrence.
And at the 7-yard line, the catch is made. And he is out of bounds, but first he gets it inside the 10 to the 7. They're able to convert on third down, and that sets up a first and goal.
Even with the big lead here in the fourth, it still bombs away, and frankly, it's working. Why should they stop? Go ahead and keep firing away and gaining those yards.
Match box, right. 80 weapons.
They'll send the tight end in motion. They'll give it to Mixon. And he will get this into the end zone for a Jaguar touchdown.
Joe Mixon with now 3 Week 1 touchdowns. And the Jaguars are looking good here in the season opener as they're able to extend their lead.
Extra point right down the middle. And it is 28-0.
After the touchdown, Cook now to kick this one away. This will be fielded inside the 5.
Now a hit and a loose football. And did the Jaguars come up with it? They did.
As that ball got away from him, and he saw the opposing team.
And now before the ball changes hands, they're going to take a look at this just to make sure that they have it right.
The Titans offense set to begin the drive.
Well, it's been a struggle so far for this offense, Charles. It's not only that they haven't been able to put the points up, but really stringing yards together has been a real issue for them in this one.
I'm so glad you brought up the yardage because I was thinking to myself, we've seen a lot of NFL games and we've seen our share of lopsided contests, but in almost all of them, both offenses have put up at least 200 yards in a game, but not in this one. This has been a display of offense that, frankly, I think the two of us have watched from behind our hands, trying to spread our fingers wide enough to actually see the result.
Throwing on 2nd and 14.
Willis. And he's going to be intercepted for the third time thus far. And the Jaguars are going to take possession of the football.
Partner's bad enough when you just can't hold on to the football. But when your quarterback's throwing it to the other team, that's 3 interceptions now, 4 turnovers for the game. You really have no chance to win the football game.
No gain on the play there. 2nd down. In motion left, that's Cooper. They'll send a receiver here in motion right.
The offense knew it. They were already starting to walk back as that one is accepted.
And now after the delay of game, they're operating behind the sticks, 2nd and 15.
Now Lawrence.
Toward the sideline, and look at that catch. Dragging the toes, and that's going to be a first down. Well done. A good pickup there, 26 yards. And looking to put this game on ice in the 4th quarter, but still not afraid to throw it as they show there.
You want to play the game with confidence, and they have a guy who's in control right now. Their trigger guy, throwing it, they feel just as confident with him doing that as they would if they tried to run the ball and run the clock out.
Throwing now, Lawrence on 1st down.
His pass caught at the 4. And so close, he gets it to the 1. Out of bounds right there. Back-to-back nice plays, 12 yards that time and a first down.
When you have someone throwing it that well, that confidently, you don't have to call the game in fear at all, do you? You just go ahead and play.
Yep, confidence with a lead to throw it here in the 4th, and boom, he's on the money.
Yeah, you don't have to tuck your head in and go like turtle at this point. You can just go ahead and play.
That's going to go as a loss of 1 on 1st down. On this day, the ground has been his, but at least on that individual play, we just saw the defense finally with a win.
Yeah, they finally got one, and that's a win for them, but all game long, he's seen the holes, and they've been huge for him. Kind of like a baseball hitter in the zone. The ball seems bigger, and he's just whack.
And they are going to score again. Yet another touchdown as they just add to their totals.
And they would not be denied on the ground, powering it in just one play after they got stopped short.
And how about how many tight ends are on the field? Because in today's NFL, we think of the tight end more as a pass catcher. But this group, they tell them you've got to be able to run block to stay on this team. And they committed to it and got it done right there.
An extra point splits the uprights. And that makes this 35-0 now.
After the touchdown, Cook now to kick this one away.
And this will not be returnable. It's out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. The Titans offense set to begin the drive.
At this point, partner, things looking pretty bleak. They still haven't scored here in the 4th quarter, facing the big deficit. Just what silver linings, what can they look to do here offensively?
You know, it's funny, I talked about this with a coach in the offseason and kind of had this scenario, like what feels good to you and what feels good to your team. You're down big. You really have like one possession left, and you're trying to put points on the board that don't matter. But do they? And he told me they actually do matter. And in this situation, he's going to try and run the best offense he can run to have at least a little bit of confidence to take away from that game. So right now, they're going to try their best to get something up on the board and not get shut out.
18 Cardinal, 18 Cardinal.
the play fake, here's Willis.
And that is incomplete.
Even with such a big lead late, the effort hasn't lapsed one bit. If the offense wants to score some points in this one, they're going to have to earn it. These guys are not giving up anything.
This offense so far on third down, just 1 for 5 to this point. This is third down and 12.
Third down, it's Willis.
Blitz coming, and down he goes. Just 2 minutes remaining here in the fourth quarter of what has been a one-sided affair. On now is the Titans punter as the drive goes backwards, so he's on to punt it away. They'll score that a 36-yard punt, and this offense, they're going to have excellent field position. They take over with a 1st and 10 on the short side of the field. And they'll send the tight end in motion here. That one looks like he'll throw here. And the Titan defense steps up here, and down he goes. After the sack, it's 2nd and 19, and the road gets a bit tougher from here. They'll try to eat some clock with Mixon. And he'll be tackled right on the midfield logo.
All right, so they got that one, Charles, against the center.
And let's remember how difficult it is for the center, because remember, he's got to snap the ball to put the play in motion, and sometimes you got that big guy on your nose. You got sometimes where he's coming at you at an angle. It's a difficult job for him to snap the ball and then execute his block.
Now they face a 2nd and long following the holding penalty.
Off the play fake, here's Lawrence.
His throw incomplete.
Well, big here in the fourth quarter, up really big. That pass and incompletion, I don't think they needed the completion, but Charles, this is an offense right now that they're just having fun. They're clicking on all cylinders.
Yeah, you're right. They didn't need a completion. They certainly don't need any more points, but they're not going to turn them down. They're going to continue to run what they have in their playbook, and they still want to run it efficiently.
Play action. It's Lawrence.
Completes it right side to Cooper.
And they'll get this down to the 42-yard line.
The Titans going to use the first of their timeouts as they stop it here with 1:07 remaining.
So much about this game is just understanding situations and then having to execute, isn't it? Guard the first down sticks. Don't let them get there. And they rallied and made the tackle.
Down. Hey, Alpha. Number West. Hey, Orbit.
And they'll try and throw for it with Lawrence.
And it's incomplete. They cannot convert, and they turn it over. The Jags come up empty on 4th down. And as a result, it'll be Titan football on the turnover on downs. The Titans offense set to begin the drive. And let's face it, this drive is not going to have any bearing on this game, but it's kind of important for one reason, isn't it?
It certainly is. You got to get points. And, okay, all right, I'm being facetious here. But you get points, you feel a little bit better about yourself as you move on to the next one.
And they'll get him down on the other side of midfield.
19 right.
Throwing again on 2nd down.
Willis
taking a deep shot here for Hardman. And he drops it incomplete. And their struggles continue here.
And that's another play that's painted the picture of this game overall. It's been a blowout. It's been continually fueled by big turnovers and stops for one side and an inability to advance the ball from the other.
They tried the throw on second down, unsuccessful. Now it's 3rd and 1. Now a handoff up the middle. It's Baker.
And great blocking downfield as he's got this almost to the 35-yard line.
Now Tennessee going to use the second of their timeouts, as they'll stop it with a little over 30 ticks to go in the football game.
Play action, Willis.
And his throw is going to be incomplete.
At this point in the game, they've got to continue to try anything they can. They're still working at it, even though this one feels like a lost cause.
They'll try again from the 36 on 2nd and 10.
Willis back to the air on 2nd and 10.
And this is caught. And he's across for the touchdown. Too little, too late. But he does get in for 6.
No wonder you're grinning. You just beat me in our fantasy league.
Indeed I did, my good man. Point after, right down the middle. And that'll cut the lead down a bit to 28. The kickoff team on the field now as they will send this one away.
This will be fielded inside the 5. And out a little across the 25 to the 27.
The Jacksonville offense set to begin their next drive.
And this is really the start to the season that you're hoping for if you're a coach or a player. They've got the big lead here in the 4th quarter, and now can really take some time off the clock.
And he takes us beyond the 35 before going out of bounds. 11 yards there for Jacksonville and a first down as well.
They have been unstoppable this afternoon, Charles. They just went after them from the start, and pass plays like we just saw, they're continuing their dominance here despite the big lead in the 4th quarter.
And that they have in every way. And plays like that across all phases of the game, they've just been effortless for them in this one. And that's what's helped them build such a large lead and allowed them to smile as this game continues.
Now Lawrence on first down.
And that is caught on the right sideline, but out of bounds, says the line judge. The throw took him a little too far at 2nd down. So after the incompletion on first, now 2nd and 10.
Hey, exit. On the ball. On the ball.
Lawrence will throw.
Letting one fly deep for Cooper. And it's incomplete. They're still throwing to the very end. But now this game is over.
Now, this was not just the opener of a brand new season, but this was a division game here in Week 1. And to come through with a 1-0 start against a division opponent gives you a little something extra heading forward for the rest of the season.
Yeah, let's pile it all into one game, right? Opening the season, and you open within the division. You knew the motivation was going to be there on both sidelines. One just executed better and earned the win.
So for Jacksonville, that'll be a happy locker room as they start this season 1-0. And they'll hit the road next week to take on the Arizona Cardinals. Meanwhile, for Tennessee, they obviously fall to 0-1 with the defeat. And they will try to get back in the swing of things next week on the road.